Now, a man who's very familiar with the unique set of challenges, shall we say, that Trump brings for a lawyer. Ty Cobb was White House special counsel during the Trump administration and has since turned into a fierce Trump critic. Ty, it's always great to see you. So, question for you with regard to this press conference that just went down. Did we just watch in real time how difficult it is to be Donald Trump's lawyer? And did we just watch the beginning of another defamation suit, you think?
I think so. Certainly he defamed her. You know, whether her $88 million is enough to forestall another suit remains to be seen. But certainly he came out and did the same things that he's, lost twice on to the tune of, $88 million. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see her sue.
So, he ditched the election subversion hearing yesterday, but takes a day off the campaign trail to come to New York to do a presser on his sex abuse case. Why?
I have no idea. I mean, seriously, it's impossible to make rhyme or reason out of most of the things that he does like this. If I was his lawyers, I would not have actually had him there. I think he probably wanted to be there. I think he probably expected that the appellate hearing might generate some news, and he wanted to be part of the news cycle. But I think, but for his appearance, this would have been a paragraph on page 3 or maybe page 1, but not a big deal. And the hearing itself was largely unremarkable, focused on a couple of discrete issues, nothing that I think should give him any confidence, although, the propensity issues with regard to other potential victims of the same kind of conduct is always a thorny issue on appeal. But, to come out of that hearing, where not a single judge perceived that E. Jean Carroll had made up these allegations and argue that she had fabricated them, I think is just remarkable and certainly contrary to his lawyer's advice.
Well, and let me just follow up on that. I mean, despite his 34 felony convictions, Trump has still managed to dodge jail time and trials in other cases. He continues to deny any wrongdoing with any of these charges. He makes appeals. Does Trump just have good lawyers who, by the way, he threw under the bus right there at that press conference? Or, is he able to roll like this because he was president of the United States?
So that's an excellent question. I think that's probably on everybody's mind. I think a large part of America just assumes that, he's gotten very lucky. And the reality is he has, in terms of particularly a couple of the cases, the case in Florida where you've got a, inept, arguably partisan biased judge, who could have easily gotten that case to trial. That case probably should have gone to trial a couple of months ago, and, dismissed it. She'll certainly be reversed. You've got the E. Jean Carroll case where, things are actually not going his way. He's lost twice. He's not likely to win this appeal. Or the next appeal in the related case. You've got the January 6th case, of course, where the delays are more understandable. They raise constitutional issues for the first time in the history of the republic, where we're not used to having criminals as presidents, and when you have an alleged criminal as a president, it raises issues that the Supreme Court understandably wants to take an interest in and should. And that case is going to be delayed at least a year if it goes to trial. And it won't go to trial, of course, if Trump wins, because they'll have it dismissed. But should he lose, it'll go to trial sometime next year after the Supreme Court assesses whatever Judge Chutkan is going to do and gives her further direction if necessary. Likewise, in the Florida case, that'll be reinstituted and go to trial late next year, or maybe later, depending on whether or not Judge Cannon is removed, as several amicus briefs seem to request of the 11th Circuit, and there's a strong possibility she could be removed, although perhaps not at this time, but certainly before trial, because she will not be able to help herself and will certainly err again. And then you've got, the Fani Willis case, which of course had its own problems. You have to consider Trump lucky there because of the poor judgment exercised by the district attorney and her special counsel and their romantic relationship. So yes, he's had a lot of luck. Some of the delays are understandable, particularly in the January 6th case, but elsewhere, no. And he will certainly qualify for substantial jail time in the January 6th case and the classified information case should either get to trial, and that will, as I say, only happen if he does not win in November.
Well, Ty, speaking of delays, stay with me. Aaron Katersky, you're just getting news about another sentencing for Trump being delayed, this in his New York case.
Judge Juan Merchan, in a letter posted just moments ago, said he would delay former President Trump's sentencing in his criminal hush money case, the one where Trump was found guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records tied to a hush payment to porn actress Stormy Daniels. The judge did not set a new date, but he said it would be pushed in all likelihood past the November election. Notably, in the letter, the judge said Trump was bolstering his argument with a series of grievances that are unsubstantiated, and the judge said he would not address those. But because he found that prosecutors did not oppose the idea of pushing sentencing past the November election, the judge said he would, in fact, do so.
Aaron, thank you. And Ty, here we go again. Just as we're talking about how he's able to keep delaying these cases, once again, Ty, sentencing delayed.
Yeah, I think you have to fault the prosecutors for this one. It's not on the judge. Had the prosecutors opposed Trump's request for further delay, I think the judge would have had the platform in which to deny the request. But in the absence of their opposition, it would have been unusual for the judge to do it on his own. So I understand completely why the judge did what he did. I'm not too sanguine about whatever motivated the prosecutors not to push for the sentencing as scheduled. It's already been long overdue. So it's a little bit of a surprise, at 30,000 feet, but at the same time, given the prosecutors' decision not to oppose Trump's request for the delay, the judge certainly was not going to do this on his own.
Got it. Now, I do want to get one question in about this letter that you wrote to the Georgia governor urging him to override some changes to the Georgia Election Board. Why did you decide to do this?
Well, first of all, let me make it really clear that I was very, very enthusiastic about the content of the letter and very supportive, but I'm one of many lawyers, and I don't deserve any special recognition from among that group. But the reality is, there's a lot of damage being done, or people are attempting to do at the roots of our democracy. Elections have consequences, and those consequences can only be as effective as the integrity of those elections. You've got 3 commissioners in Georgia who have had meetings without notice. They've run roughshod over the process. They've hired outside counsel beyond the attorney general, which does not appear to be authorized in their case. And they've created a perception that, contrary to the law, that they have some role in the certification of Georgia state elections and federal elections. Whereas that's not the case. It's really a court-determined process. So I think I wrote it because I'm concerned, not just in Georgia, but around the country, with some of the activity on both sides that I think goes against some of the democratic principles we have. And I think it's very important to protect elections and the integrity of elections, so that people have faith in their government and can follow the law and adhere to the rule of law, which is what distinguishes us, or has over time, from most other countries.
Ty Cobb, always great to talk to you, especially on days like this. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Nice to be with you, Kara. Always nice to be with you. Thank you, dear.
You bet.